What's happening? What's happening? Hey team. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Just had a few things to do at home and a few tech little issues. All right. So I think what is this? Okay, that's a new one. I've got a bunch of questions that's been sent to me, so I'm just gonna start just chucking it up, and we will start working on it. Now what I might do tomorrow is I'm gonna focus mainly on just achieved questions, because I get a feeling a lot of people are gonna come in on the last minute study, and usually the last minute study people are the ones that are just trying to get achieved. Car, no, unfortunately I only had like five hours of sleep last night, which was far worse, but I'm in a better state of mind today because I had a really awesome interaction with one of my students today, which which was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, you know what, maybe I can do this. All right, so let's get going, because I'm just going through the emails right now, and I think I've got a bunch of questions here. Oh geez, this is an horrible question. Oh, actually it's not too bad. All right, let's actually start doing this question here. I'm just going to clear my emails, people, so if there is any questions that's popping up from there, I'm going to do that. Tomorrow I'm going to focus on just achieved. All right, so here is the first question, and as usual what we'll do is, I think there's a timer here somewhere. Probability report evaluation. Avani, no, unfortunately no, I will not be doing that. Nate, there's not like a full list, but there's a bunch of tutorials that I've put in the new mathematical, like all the tutorials that I've been doing, the live streams that I've done from like 24th of September last year. That's all the tutorials that should actually cover it. Oh, is it, Go Eric? I should have figured. Yeah, actually that's a good point. I might actually just show you guys where that is as well. Sned Mats, he is a good friend of mine from St. Kitts. So if you are keen, if you do want to do some more practice questions, and he writes pretty awesome questions. Let me just have a look. Where is it? I got everything but, oh, there we go. All right, so if you do want to have a kind of like a look at this, just Google Sned Mats, and he actually has a website there, and in his website he's got a new, I think it's in this one, new mathematical reasoning. Yeah, so there you go. He's actually got some practice questions there for you to do. So if you are doing some questions and you need a bit more practice for the questions, he's got about 5 practice exams that is worth having a look at for you guys. All right, that should give you guys enough practice, and I think he writes pretty awesome questions, so definitely worth having a look at. The website is called Sned Mats. So yeah, his name is Jamie, good old Jamie. Yeah, Jamie Snedden, that's his name. All right, so I think if that's questions, that's great, but let's actually go through this question here. So SNED, sorry, I'll pin it for you guys. Sned Mats, just maths or math, could be math, but I think if you search that, I'll pin the chat, I'll pin the message so you can get it. I'm not sure, Taran. I don't know. This is definitely level 1. All right, cool. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get the answers out. Give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and then we'll go through the answer, all right? That's 1. That you need 25. 4. Yeah, we can do that. No, this is level 1 mathematical reasoning, team. Definitely not level 2, Ankh. All right, got another 10 seconds and I'll go through the question here, all right? By the way, the formulas for all of these things should be given to you guys in the exam. So I think if you do get measurement, it's just pretty much matching the formula and actually doing this. All right, so let's have a go through this. 2 minutes, right? So we've got equilateral triangle with 3 circles of radius 1 centimeter drawn inside. And the question is actually asking XY coordinates of the triangle corners are given. Calculate the area not covered by the shaded circle. So basically, we're looking for this yellow area here. And so the way we're going to figure this out is we're going to actually take the area of the full triangle, and then we're going to minus 3 circles inside of it. So 3 circles inside of it. And that should give us the yellow shaded region there. So basically triangle minus 3 times the circles. So if you look at the triangle area, you're going to get half times base times h minus 3 times the area of the circle, which is pi r squared. Oh, it's definitely from Desmos there, Alicia. Now, if you look at the triangle, we've got to figure out what the base is. So the base of the triangle is this part here, and then we've got the height of the triangle, which happens to be this part here. So we know the height of this triangle because that's actually 4.372. As for the base, we're going to take that 4.732 minus negative 4.732. So if you look at the triangle, our base of the triangle is equal to 4.732 minus negative 0.732. I feel like he did this on purpose because you probably would go 4.732 minus that to get a base of 4. You can't actually have that. So where is my calculator? So I'm going to go 4.732 minus negative 0.732. That's going to give me 5.464. So if I look at it from here, I've got half times base times height. So that's going to be a half times base, which is 5.464, times height, which is the 4.732, minus 3 times pi r squared. Now r is equal to 1. So that's going to be 1 squared. So now at this point, I just need to actually work this out. So I'm going to go 5.464 multiplied by 0.5 multiplied by 4.732 minus 3 times pi times 1 squared. Well, I should have just left that as 1, but you know what. So then all of this is equal to 3.503, and that's going to be just centimeters squared. How do I know which is the height? Well, if you look at this particular point here, it gives you the x value and the y value. Now, when it says 2, what it means by 2 is this part here is 2, and this part here is 4.372. Sorry, 4.732. And that's how I know the height of the triangle is 4.732. I would think this is probably a merit question. I don't think this is an excellence question because you're just literally subtracting. You're finding two areas and subtracting. There's not really, yeah, I wouldn't call it an excellence. It has to be merit. Prajwal, same with the base, because if you look at it, this part here is 4.732. So that's what I bought here. And then this one is negative 0.732, which I ended up bringing here. And then I've got to go subtract those two values. Richard, I did answer times 0.5 because 0.5 is a half. What's the 1 squared for? Because the radius is equal to 1, because it tells you that the radius is equal to 1, which means our r here is 1, and that's how I get the 1 squared from. Makitek, in terms of achieved questions, I think if you find the area, in this case, even of a circle or a triangle, you might be getting an achieved for it. So even though this is a merit question, trying to attempt those merit questions, you can actually easily get the achieved ones as well. From the BH for the height. Sorry, the BH, like just to put it there, I found that the base was 5.464, which I found from here. And then the H is the 4.732, which I found from the height of the triangle. Okay, so for those of you guys that are on TikTok that's actually kind of joining in late, you can go to this website. It is called SNEDMaths. Just look it up. Wait, I can't even post a comment on my own live. What the? How does that even happen? Are you meant? This is crazy. I can't actually type a comment in. How is that? Oh, there we go. SNEDMaths. Okay, that was weird. Can I pin it? Pin comment. There you go. So if you have a look at SNEDMaths, you could actually see that he's got about 4 or 5 exam papers for you to try and do. Yes, Jada, I just started it. It was the first question today. I'm just kind of working through questions that people have sent me on email. So, all right, what I'll do is I'll put a bunch of line numbers and let me know if you have any issues. Some of you guys are actually helping out on the chat, which is super, super helpful. 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, I should probably go 4, 5, 6 like that. 4, 5, 6, 7. Jada, probably something like this. I mean, like we do like different types of practice questions so we can get the hang of things. So it's really hard for me to say, yes, this question is definitely going to come. It's, I can't really say that. Lexi, if you think about it like this, right? Like, and I know it's a great question to ask. So imagine you have a box like this. Let's say this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And let's say you have a box that looks like this. And where this height here happens to be, I don't know, 7, right? If the red box is there, and if we ask to find the area of the red box, you would go base times height. Now the height is quite obvious because that's 7. What would you get base as? The base is going to be the distance from here to here. You're not going to say the base is actually 4 units long because it's not 4 units long, it's actually 2 units long. And because it's 2 units, what you end up doing is you actually go 4 minus 2 to get the length of the rectangle, which is the 2. So that's why I am actually doing line 4. I'm actually taking the 4.732 minus this value to get this distance here. Is that okay, Fernandez Valenque? Yeah, Alexi's good. Okay. 3.503 centimeters squared. Yep, that should be the full answer. Yeah, easy, easy. All right. Next question. Let me just paste the next question. Inequalities. I think I have a question on inequalities somewhere, but I'll have a look through. All right, here's another quick one. I think this is just an achieved one, but it's kind of worth having it there. So what I'll do is today's live stream. What's the next one? You wanted an inequality one. While you guys do that quickly, I just need to check for the next lot of questions. Delete. Sorry, Oscar, I missed that. What was it? Thanks for that. Yeah, can we do inequalities? Can we do bearings? Yeah, bearings is definitely on my list as well. So we'll do bearings and inequalities today. I'll just need to find a question. Yeah, boy, Nugget, that question from 2024 was crazy. I did not like that at all. I spent like nearly 1.5 hours trying to figure out how to do that. All right, let's have a look at this question. So what we have is area of a rectangle is 20 centimeters squared. We've got length, which is 3x plus 7. And the base height is x. And all of this is equal to 20. So what you're going to need to do here is you need to expand the brackets. So we're going to go 3x times x, 7 times x. You're going to end up with 3x squared plus 7x equals to 20. Now, one other step is we're going to actually bring the 20 across. So this is going to become 3x squared plus 7x minus 20 equals to 0. Now, this is Nate, and I think you like I did some work with this a while back, and I can't believe this, but I actually have to watch my own YouTube video for this. But I did come up with a video for a hack for this, especially Nate, if you're in that problems where you're trying to figure out what do you call it? I think it's trinomials. Is it trinomials? Let me just check. Yeah, here we go. What did I do in that video?
7 times.
All right. So I'm gonna give you a bit of a hack, and yeah. There's the breakup method. There's the guess and check method, but I'm gonna show you this, and I'm a bit nervous to show you this. But what I'll do is I'll put the video up on the chat as well for you to have a look at it. Nico, it's up already, so you can actually just start watching it straight away and you can catch up. So here's a little trick that I've been kind of messing around with. So you get, not me, I've watched it on YouTube and I thought this is pretty interesting. So all you really do here is, what you do is you actually do this. You go 3, and I think this is pretty much the similar step, but it still works. So you go 3 times negative 20, which is equal to negative 60. So all I'm doing is I'm going to multiply by 3 because of this thing. But instead of writing it as it's a weird one. It's mathematically it's not correct, but in a weird way the magic method surprisingly seems to work. So what we do is we rewrite this as, instead of 3, we rewrite this as x squared plus 7x minus 60. Now, and I know this is not the same equation as the top equation, but what you can do is you just factorize this. So you're looking for two numbers that multiply to minus 60 and add up to 7. Is there a combination like that? What do you got? 6 and 10, 20 and 3, 6 and 10, 20 and 3. Is there anything else? What am I missing, guys? 12 and 5. Perfect. 12 and 5. Let's do that. So we're going to write this as x plus 12 and x, what was the other one? Was it 5? Yeah, minus 5. So we're going to do that. Now, here's the little weird trick. You know how we kind of like multiplied by 3 at the beginning? So what you do now is you kind of divide both of those numbers by 3. And what you end up with is x plus 4 and x minus 5 over 3. But we still know this is not correct because we're not getting the 3x squared. So the little hack that you do is you just move the 3 up to here. And what you end up with is x plus 4 multiplied by 3x minus 5. Now I'm going to do this in the calculator and then I'll do the other method as well, all right? Just to show you how it actually works out. So in the calculator, you can go to equation and you can head into polynomial, degree 2, and you just punch in those numbers. So you got 3, 7, and negative 20. And guess what? There's my answers, 5 over 3 and negative 4. Because in this case, I'm going to get x plus 4 equals to 0. So x is equal to negative 4. Or 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. And then x is equal to 5 over 3. Yes, it's always, you take the coefficient and you multiply it with this number, always. Oh yes, 100% Elena. Look, like there is multiple ways of doing this. Some people like to do the split method. Some people like to put in the calculator. Sorry, Taya. Like, ultimately, what I'm trying to show you guys is that there's more than one way to get these things. I mean, you can even guess and check for if you have the time. Because if you're just doing one paper, I think you do get 3 hours. Is that correct, or am I wrong about that? Jada, I'll try and do just an achieved one tomorrow, all right? So Brits, I actually had a time to look at the exam paper, and I'm gonna be honest. I think, like, my honest opinion is that some of you are gonna be kicking yourselves because those excellence questions, you have done variations of those excellence questions, and a couple of the integration ones, all you had to do was just one rearrange, and it was one of the easiest E8s you were gonna pick up. But I didn't want to say that and have that. So, but yeah. What if there's a common factor in the unsolved equation? What if there's a common factor? If there's a common factor, then you can take it out, Henzi. Yeah, so x is equal to 5 over 3 because x actually can't be negative. So we're going to say that x is equal to 5 over 3. And if you're happy with that, we're good with that question. We can move on. When you rearrange, when you rearrange, because you're bringing 20 over to the opposite side, remember that when you bring it across to the other side, the symbols will actually change. Why isn't it 3x plus 4? Because that's, yeah, it doesn't end up with one of the brackets. It depends on which bracket you use, yeah. Eamon Lord, what you got to do is you got to click on menu, go into equation, then you go into polynomial. So that's the F2, polynomial, degree 2, because it's x squared. And then you just punch in the values 3, 7, and negative 20. Split method. Okay, let's do the split method, all right? If I was to do the split method, I would go 3 times negative 20, which is equal to negative 60. And I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 60 and add up to plus 7. So my two numbers is going to be positive 12 and minus 5, positive 12 and minus 5. And I'm going to write this as 3x squared plus 12x plus 5x minus 20 equals to 0. What am I going to get? That should be minus 5x, sorry. Then I'm going to get 3x as a common factor, so that's going to be x plus 4 minus 5 times x plus 4 equals to 0. And then I'm going to get 3x minus 5, x plus 4 equals to 0. And then we pretty much do what we did here. Yeah, so we're going to move on, team. Next question, I think. No, not that one. One at a... No, not that one. Trying to find an inequality question, and I did see it somewhere. I just can't remember where. Can't seem to find it. Where did it go? PDF file, PDF. Come on, man, where is this paper? Ah, here we go. All right, we're going to do this one here. Just an inequality one. So let's just get it out of the way. Yeah, let's do this one here. Nah, mate, like I can't do those papers because like I don't know where the DGE paper is from, and then like I know, I mean, I'm trying to rewrite the questions and I just got hooked, like busy with schoolwork. So bearings, yeah, look, I think bearings is worth having, and I'll show you guys a quick, like, give me like 10 minutes and I'll come up with a quick bearing question and we'll actually go through it together. All right, so it's worth knowing bearings because it's like, it's just trig, extension of trig, and it tends to be a nice excellence question as well. What's up, ZG? All right, now if you are looking at a question like this and you're like, I don't know where to start this from, the first thing you want to be treating this question is that don't get scared about the inequality sign. Like, don't get scared about the less than or greater than sign, all right? Just think about it like this. Rewrite this question. I mean, if it helps you, rewrite the question like this. Just get rid of the symbol, put it as equals. Once you do that, then from there, the second step is get rid of the denominator. You know how you got the 2 and 6 at the bottom there? You got to get rid of that. And I'll show you a couple of shortcuts to kind of work this through. And of course, it works with all the way up to level 3 and onwards. So you can find the least common multiple. You could do that. But also, Grace, like if you do get a question like this, I'm telling you, like it's actually not too bad. I'll show you a couple of tricks to do how to do this. All right, so we got a couple of answers. So I'm going to start doing this. So the first thing you want to do is I want to be able to get rid of this 2 here. All right, if I want to get rid of this 2, the best way to get rid of this 2 is, most people think I just take this 2 across here and multiply it. No, you don't actually do that. Instead, what you do is you take everything that's by itself. So now notice how all of these things are like something plus something equals something. to get rid of this 2 that's highlighted in yellow, I'm going to multiply this bracket by 2. But remember, if I do something to one bracket, I have to do that to every bracket. And basically what that means is that the two 2's here, the yellow 2's, they're going to cancel out each other. So let me do that step by step so you can kind of understand what's happening. So first, this 2 and this 2 cancels out. And all I'm left with is minus 5x minus 3 plus 2 times 4x plus 10 over 6 equals to 5 multiplied by 2. Now if you look at it, the thing that you need to get rid of is the 6. The 6 is in the denominator there, because if you look at it, there's a 6 right here. I want to be able to get rid of the 6. So if I want to get rid of the 6, what I'm going to do is multiply everything by 6. So I'm going to go 6 times this, 6 times this bracket, and then 6 times here. Now what's going to happen is the two 6's, they are going to get cancelled out. And what you end up with is 6 bracket negative 5x minus 3 plus 2 4x plus 10 equals 5 times 2 times 6. Galila, that is another way you could do that as well. And that's the beauty of these questions. Like, you actually have multiple ways to solve this. So I'm going to leave this question here. See if you guys can solve this. If you understand this method, go for it. See what happens in the end. If you're making the same denominator the same, Jackson, I know you've been asking that. I did that yesterday. Have a look at yesterday's tutorial and the previous tutorials that I've done, because I think I spent quite a few tutorials ago a bunch of literally a whole session on parabolas. So if you were to make the denominator the same, this is what we need to do. And you'll notice you're going to end up with the same thing, because in here the denominator, you need to multiply this by 3 and this by 3. So what happens is, when we do that, we end up with 3 times negative 5x minus 3 over 6 plus 4x plus 10 over 6 is less than 5. Now I'm going to take all of this denominator together. So I've got 3 negative 5x minus 3 plus 4x plus 10, the whole thing divided by 6, less than 5. Cross multiply the 6, and I'm going to get 3 negative 5x minus 3 plus 4x plus 10 is less than 5 times 6. And what you'll notice is both of these lines that I have got right now eventually is going to get you to that answer of where you have x by itself. Now my next question I'm going to be doing is bearings, guys. That's the one I want to be doing next. I think I did do some parabolas yesterday and a few yeah, there's some really let me just have a look. There are some tutorials on this, but and I know people are asking. Give me 1 second. I'm going to come back to this. Okay. So, in my description, I do have the link to my OneNote here. All right. Now, I have basically been doing tutorials from like last year, which goes through this goes through basic Pythagoras. So if you want to know a little bit of Pythagoras and trig, that is on the 24th of September 24. Now, if you want to know where to find these tutorials, if you go into my channel, just because I know now we're kind of getting like a lot of people here. Okay. In my channel, if you go right, oh, that's the wrong window. Where is this window? Maybe it's this one. Yeah, here we go. So if you go right down to level 1, notice how there's like, how many videos are there? Yeah, it's all dated there right from the beginning. So from 24th September onwards, right? So you got a whole bunch of tutorials there. But if you want to know which particular tutorial you want to do, you can go to my OneNote and you can have a look at all of my notes. So when did I do parabolas? That looks like more parabola stuff right there. And a bit of simultaneous equations. Got area questions, more trig, volume and inequalities there as well. Yeah, so, and even if you go earlier this year, I do measurement, more algebra questions, all of those exponential questions is there as well. So all of them are actually listed for those tutorials. So parabolas, if you want to learn parabolas, search up the 9th of September tutorial, and that pretty much covers everything you need to know about parabolas. All right, so the space that you want to be going and having a look at is this playlist here, which is that level 1 playlist, and then all the topics are actually there. The OneNote link, it's actually on my video itself. Like, where is it? This is the video that I'm doing right now. If you click on the description of the YouTube channel, you can get the OneNote and you can have a look at all of my notes there and see what questions I've done, see what videos are there for those questions as well. So definitely jump on that OneNote on YouTube and have a look through. All right, because it's pretty hard for me to cover everybody's demands, especially when I've got, how many do I have here? Yeah, especially when I got about 250 people on both channels. So I'm going to finish this last question off, and then I'm going to go through, what is it? What is the question that we're going to do? Bearings. And then I'll probably just let you guys be at it. But anyway, look, let's finish this question because it's a bit stink that I left people hanging. Got negative 30x minus 18 plus 8x plus 20 equals 60. We've got negative 22x plus 2, is it? Equals 60. And then negative 22x is equal to 60 minus 2. So that's going to be 58. So x. Now, here's the thing. I know I wrote this as equals, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my symbol back, which is 58. All right, and it's less than. So then x is 58. Because I'm actually dividing by a negative number, this is the only time you need to change the symbol. And you change the symbol to just opposite symbol when you divide by negative. So the final answer for this question, you can simplify it, or you can actually leave it as negative 29 over 11 as well. There's quite a few people. I mean, look, I don't mind going through similar triangles, but do you guys need some help with similar triangles, or I think we're good to go with that? Nate, that's just one of the things that happens with anytime inequality. Anytime you actually reduce or like divide by a negative number, your inequality symbol actually changes. All right, two things that I'm actually going to go through is we're going to do bearings and we're going to do similar triangles. Posters, I did work on the fake test. I did about 3 questions, and the last 2 days my school has been hectic, man. So I just did not get time to do that. So we're going to do bearings first. All right, I know there's a lot of people that are asking about bearings, and then after bearings we will do similar triangles, because similar triangles it's super fast, so it's not like major. All right, so we are going to do a bearings question. I just need to pick up a question. Give me 1 second. I need to go back to the archives to see if I can actually write a question or like just pull up a bearings question from the past. Okay, so here is one of the, is it achieved? Just want to double check that we have all the information that we need. Bearings. Find the bearing from alpha. Okay, so here is a question, right? So we're going to have something like this. We're going to have port. Ship goes at a bearing of, I don't know, like, let's say it goes 120 kilometers at a bearing of 120 degrees. Stops, and then it travels, let's go 70 kilometers at a bearing of 180, 210, 220. Let's go 220. All right, so this is where the ship is. Now the question is, what I'm just trying to think, have I given you guys enough here? Let me just check 1 second. That's going to give you that, that's going to give you that, that's going to give you that. Yeah, so the question is going to be like, what is the distance of the blue line? And then we could ask something like, what bearing should the ship actually take to head back to port? By the way, if you get a question like this, you should be like super grateful, super thankful. I'll tell you why. Because bearings questions is one of those questions where you use, if you don't know how to do anything in bearings, I'm going to answer that question very shortly, Blake. And all I want you guys to do is, if you ever get a bearings question, is just create a bunch of right angle triangles and just start calculating everything. Because when you do that, I feel like there's almost a guarantee that you'll get merit from that question. Because have a look at this. How do you actually create this triangles, right? Now, when it comes to bearings, it always starts north. It always starts from north and it goes clockwise. So if they go clockwise at 120 degrees, then that means you can create these right angle triangles. So your first right angle triangle should look like this. Then your second right angle triangle should look like this. And your third right angle triangle should look like this. All right, and I know it's not the greatest of diagrams right there, but these things right here, they are all right angles. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do right now is, like, what are some of the things that you're going to need to figure out the blue line, the dark blue line, right? So you kind of need this part here, this yellow part here. You can figure out what the yellow part is by actually figuring out the yellow part in the green line and the yellow part in the red line. Yeah, it is Sokotoa, Jada. You just use Sokotoa for the whole thing for bearings, and you will, Grace, that is absolutely correct. It applies to every bearings question. You just make them into a bunch of right angle triangles and you just use Sokotoa. Now, if you look at the bottom part of the light blue triangle, you're going to need this green part here. To figure out what the green part is, we can actually work out the pink part, subtract it from the orange part. So this is what I mean by when I say calculate everything, create it like a rectangle, and then calculate all of the little pieces, and you'd be able to do it. So I'm going to give you guys maybe about 5 minutes and just have a go. All right, I've given you what are all the things you need, and I'm asking you to find the length of the blue line. And one more thing, I also would like to know what is the bearing that it needs to go. So that means I also want to know what is this angle here, and I want to know what this distance here is. Ashley, that is correct, because you won't be able to, the inside triangle, Ashley, is not a right angle triangle, right? But the outside three triangles will be right angle triangles. Yes, you're making a big rectangle where the three right angle triangles are in the corners. And as you do more of these questions, bearings question, it'll be very obvious, Galila. Like they'll give you like something like this. This was one of the questions from a few, where is it? OneNote, here we go. It's like, see, they actually will do something like this where they say two ships leave a port, they will have a bearing and they'll have a diagram as well. And if you think about a question like this, all you're doing is just drawing a right angle triangle here. There's another right angle triangle here, and the last one is here, like that. So just imagine it like this, like you're just creating a big rectangle around the triangle with three right angle triangles. Okay, we got our first answers. We got 149K and we've got a bearing of 328 degrees. Caitlin, unfortunately, while I know that what you're doing is correct, it's great question. Okay, let's have a look, Kira. If you look at the green triangle, remember that it says this part here is 120 degrees. If this is 120 degrees, we have a right angle here. That'll be 90 degrees, which means this part here is going to be 30 degrees, because this here is 90 degrees. Likewise, when you have 220 here, this straight angle is going to be 180, and then if you go 220 minus 180, you're going to get 40 here as the other angle. Now remember, I told you the inside triangle is not a right angle triangle. So don't be like, oh yeah, I'm going to work out this angle, and figure it out. Just stick to the three outside triangles. Okay, we got two different answers for dark blue. That's good to know. We can figure out where the mistakes was. King, inequality question would have been a merit question. What are we trying, Elena? I haven't even done the question yet, Elena, so I'm going to do it very slowly. The MCAT tutorials, some of them are quite handy, but because you guys are allowed to use calculators, some of the bits are like, I would actually say watch the TEG ones more than the MCAT ones. Lisa does. Yes, I do. You can actually look at bearings in 20 minutes video. I think I do everything you need to know about bearings in 20 minutes. And I think I've made it super fast. So it's worth having a look at. 100% it'll be an excellence question. Like they might build you up to like achieved merit excellence. Say I did that at earlier in this tutorial cycle. All right, I'm going to start working through this question, guys, because like I said, if you're not sure, try and figure out one thing at a time. So I'm going to take triangle number 1 here. That is looking like this, where this is 30 degrees. And I actually have the hypotenuse, which is 120K. Now for this triangle, I actually need the pink line as well as the little yellow line. All right, the half of that yellow line. I still need that as well. So I'm going to use trig for this. So this is going to be hypotenuse. I might actually do the opposite one first. So I've got sine 30 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 30 equals opposite over 120. 120 times sine 30 equals opposite. So doing this in my calculator, making sure that my calculator is in degrees mode. So you can do that. You can go Shift, Setup. Yep, degrees, that's fine. So I'm going to go 120 times sine 30. That gives me 60. Basically, the opposite side is equal to 60. So if the opposite side is 60, I'm going to write this as 60 here. This part here is 60 from here to here. Now I need to work out the pink line. I'm actually going to, I'll leave that as yellow. What color am I missing? Yellow, blue. Actually, I might do this. I'm going to make this blue. And I'm going to make this red there. Okay, I need to work out the pink line. Now to work out the pink line, I can use Pythagoras or I could use trig. Again, it doesn't really matter which one you guys use. I'm going to use, put it as adjacent. So cos of 30 degrees is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So cos 30 equals adjacent over 120. 120 cos 30 equals to adjacent. And then adjacent is 120 times cos 30. That's going to give me this ugly looking number, which is 103.92. So this is 103.92. This is 103.92. So as you can see, you already would have got achieved for this question because you did one of the trig equations there. Cool. Now you need to work out the little red triangle. This is number 2. And I'm going to have that here like this, where this is 40 degrees. This is 70. And I'm going to work out the blue line, which is here, and the orange line, which is here. So what we're going to do, again, I'm going to put this as opposite and adjacent. I'm going to do cos 40 degrees is opposite over hypotenuse. So that's going to be cos 40 equals opposite over 70. So I've got 70 times cos 40 equals opposite. So whatever that is, opposite 70 times cos 40. That gives me 53.6. So this here is 53.6, 53.6. Okay, and now I'm going to do, this time for the adjacent, I'm going to actually use Pythagoras just because, we're actually doing different things. So if you're using Pythagoras, you're going to get a squared plus b squared is equal to h squared. A squared plus 53.6 squared equals 70 squared. And then a squared equals 70 squared minus 53.6 squared. A is equal to square root of 70 squared minus 53.6 squared. So I'm just going to do that here. So we got square root of 70 squared minus, now the 53.6, I have it as answer, so I'm just going to put that as answer squared. And here we go. I'm getting 44.99. Let's just call it 45. That's the blue part. The blue part is 45. Okay, I'm going to pause here and ask, do you have any questions so far? We got a few people that are on 127. Say you can do either method. It's all fine. How do you use I'm not sure what you're asking about, Sarah. Yep, you can do cosine if you want, or you could do, oh, I think I made a mistake. No, I made a mistake. Sorry. I just realized I made a massive mistake. That's not correct. I used cos there. That should have been sine. Damn it. Sorry. Sine of 40 should be opposite. I can't believe I did that. I used cos for that. Or did I use sine? No, I did use cos. That was silly of me. So that should have been sine. That should have been sine. That should have been 70 sine. Did you make the same mistake, Indy? I made a mistake. That's fine. We have those things happen. So 70 sine 40 is 44.99. So this is 44.99. 44.99. Then the other one would be 53.62. Sorry team, stuffed up that one. Yeah, it's just the 40, it's the other part. Yeah, sorry, apologies. Okay, now let's actually go to triangle number 3 to figure out what the blue line is. Because first, we need to know what the red part is. The red part is yellow plus the blue. Because if you look at it, yellow plus the blue is the red part. That is going to be 60 plus 53.62. So that's going to be 113.62. The green is actually pink minus orange. So we got 103.92 minus 45. 103.92 minus 45. That gives me 58.92. So this distance is 58.92. So now I'm going to do the light blue triangle there, where this is 58.92. This is 113.62. So I'm going to do a squared plus b squared is equal to h squared. So I'm going to get 113.62 squared plus 58.92 squared, and then h is equal to square root of that. Sorry, I have not looked at the comments at all. I'm just trying to power through this at the moment. Syntax error. Why is it syntax error? Oh, right. There we go, team. We should get 127.98 kilometers. And I think I saw quite a few 127.99. Now, if you got 127, anywhere close to 127, you are looking at definitely, you know, an E. But I think sometimes they'll ask you guys to find the bearing. That's the last part I want to do. To find the bearing, all you have to do is find this angle here. So I'm going to kind of work this blue triangle here. So we got 113.62, and this is 58.92. So you got angle x. So tan x is opposite and adjacent. X is equal to inverse tan of opposite over adjacent. So inverse tan of 113.62 divided by 58.92. Now remember, you need to find the bearing, and you can't just finish off this question just finding the angle here. So if I do tan inverse of 113.62 divided by 58.92, I get this angle, 62.59. Now 62.59 is not the bearing, because if you look at this part here, the bearing, the ship is actually bearing from here, which means you've got to add 270 degrees plus the x. So your bearing is going to be 270 plus 62.59, which means you're going to end up with 332.59 bearing. Don't know how you got the 292. Ashley, the reason I got 270 is because, remember, this is 90, this is another 90, this is another 90. So I'm adding that 270 to the x to get the bearing. Nice. There you go, Elena. If you get a bearings question, you're going to walk out with an E8 for sure. Solar Cosmic, if you add 360, you're actually going to come back with one full revolution. This one, you're only going 3/4 of it, remember? Like from here to here, that's 90. It's a 180, and then 270, and then you got to add the x part. So that's why I do 270 plus 62.59. Lethal place, that would be almost correct, because if the paper is worth 8 for an achieved, if you get an E8 question correct, then yes, you would have passed the paper. Say they always give the diagrams, and even if they don't give the diagrams, you can still get like a merit from sketching the diagram and then go from there. Archie, if you do all of that, I think it depends on the question. Sometimes they ask you just for the bearing, sometimes they ask you just for the distance. If they ask you for both, you could be looking at like a T1, T2 question. Not sure, Galila. I know last year when they did that, a couple of years ago, they did bearings question, and what they did was they separated it. So they did like each part as separate, and then they ended up getting like achieved merit and excellence. Now look, I know it also last year, 2 years ago, they did velocity with that, which was a bit annoying because it was like combining algebra with the bearings, which was a bit painful. Yes, Ben 10, it can be, but they have to be specific about it, because this was the exam paper 2 years ago, or one of the pilots that they did. As you can see, they actually did like a weird bearing of 30 and then a second bearing of 120, which meant the triangle inside was actually 90 degrees. But in a long kind of idea, normally they won't actually have this as a 90-degree angle. Clipster, I tried, I just got bogged down with schoolwork, man, unfortunately. So I never got to it. I was working on it yesterday, and then, hang on, I just got to do this. All right. I've got one last question, one quick little sample thing that I just want to do and just get it over and done with. That is, I know a lot of you guys have been asking for similar triangles. Very quickly, because I think I've got a bunch of schoolwork that I need to finish up on. Okay, if you do get a similar triangle and it's just proportional and it works with ratios, and it works with any kind of similar triangle. So let's say you have a similar triangle like this, and let's say the idea is this red triangle is similar to the blue triangle. The reason is because of the angle. If this is like, say, 30 degrees, this will also be 30 degrees. And as long as that, it's a proportional thing, right? So if it goes like, if this red triangle is like 4 and 5, and let's say this was 8, then they'll ask you, what is this part here? And if they're similar triangles, all you have to look at is, you have to look at this 4, what's happening to the 8? It's getting doubled. So if you have a 5 here, because you have a 5 here, all that happens is it just gets doubled here. This becomes a 10. That's pretty much the idea behind similar triangles. So you just got to match the side with the side, and look at what's happening with the ratio. So for example, if this was not an 8, let's say it was something like 12.5. If it was like 12.5, then, and if you want to figure out what the question mark is, all you do is you actually go, and you can write it like this: 4 divided by 5 equals 12.5 divided by question mark. That's one way of writing it. Another way of writing it is you can do 12.5 divided by 4 equals question mark divided by 5. So there's lots and lots of ways of actually writing this. It's just, yeah, exactly, Isla. That's what it is. It's just looking at like kind of like the scale factor, like how much has it increased by and how much has it decreased by. So yeah, there's nothing more to it. Like they might ask you a question like prove that this is a similar triangle or something like that, but I don't think, yeah, it's not like crazy kind of questions that you'll get. Oh, yep. So that's a great question. What if the question is looking like this? This is one of the questions that was asked. What if this is like x plus 2? If that's the case, you basically do the same thing. You go 4 divided by 5 equals 12.5 divided by x plus 2. Then what you do is you cross multiply each of them, and you're going to end up with 4 bracket x plus 2 equals 12.5 multiplied by 5. And then expand the brackets. So you're going to end up with 4x plus 8 equals 12.5 times 5. Is that 62.5? No, I don't think it's 62.5. I'm doing it wrong. 12.5 times 5. Maybe it was 62.5. Yeah. 62.5, and then you'd go 4x is equal to 62.5 minus 8. And then 4x is equal to 54.5. X is equal to 54.5 divided by 4. Yeah, no. I'll leave this question up here. Let me know what the issue was with this one. Number 7 is just solving it finally. So you're going to get x equals 54.5 divided by 4, which is 13.625. Yes, you can give that as a fraction. Like Harry, look, I can't really answer that kind of question because I don't know. I don't know what's going to come in the exam, but your kind of purpose is like you kind of learn as many skills as you can to try and answer these questions. This one, I don't know. I don't think it'll be would it be an achieved? Maybe. I think, yeah, it'll be an achieved. But if they do something like this, say they have the same question, but instead of a 4, they actually do like x, for example, then that would be like a merit question. This is just similar triangles. We were just doing like a couple of real basic questions with similar triangles. All right, now look, I am going to wrap things up, but I know this is the first time you guys are doing like a level 1 paper. They're just going to give you a bit of a breakdown because I know some of you are like a little bit stressed out about like, oh, will I pass this paper and so on, right? So long story short, you're going to be asked 3 questions, right? Question 1, question 2, question 3. You're going to get the maximum grade possible for each question. Like let's say you answer 1 merit question in section 1. That means if you answer 1 merit question, you will end up with like an M5, which is like 5 points. Let's say question 2, you do nothing, all right? You do absolutely nothing and you get everything wrong. Oh, but you made like 1 question you got right. Then you might get an N2 if you get 1 question correct. Then in question 3, let's say you get like, I don't know, just 1 question correct, you get an N2, which means you've actually got 5, 2, and 2. you've got 9 points in total, which means there's a very good chance you can actually get through that. Some people ask me, if I just do one excellence question, let's say you get one excellence question correct, you're going to get 8E8, but you do everything else wrong, guess what? You have 8 points in total, and your cut scores, which is the total, it could range from 0 to 7 or 8, and then 7 or 8 to 15, 14 is achieved. And then usually 15 to 20. And again, these cut scores are not guaranteed. They shift up and down based on how the exams are like. All right, so what you need to do then is kind of go, well, is this like, what you need to go is like, yeah, well, you can kind of go 21 to 24, most likely be looking at an E there. Two DP is always good. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with going more. All right, so that is pretty much me wrapped up for today, team. Now, in terms of revision, as I said to you before, where is it? Revision. So, step 1. If you want to practice some questions, there are 5 exam papers here. That's thanks to Jamie Snedden. His website is called SnedMaths, SNEDMATH. I've pinned the comments somewhere there. Have a look through that, and then you guys should be able to kind of go through the questions there. All right. When you finish that, you're like, no, that's too tricky for me. I need to practice my questions again. Head back to my channel, and then in level 1 exams and revision, this stuff that I've done so far, this is all mathematical reasoning. So there's like quite a few tutorials there to watch and to kind of work through. Yes, inequalities is in there somewhere. I know user something is just keep going about inequalities. You can go in there and you can actually check out all the tutorials. Now, if the tutorials seem a bit overwhelming, your next stop is go check out the OneNote that is in those tutorials. There's a link to my OneNote. You can go to level 1 maths reasoning on my OneNote, and all of my live streams are listed there. And you can go through each one. Like, you can have a look at it, what I did in 4th of September. There's my exponentials. Whoever's asking for exponential, that's when I did exponential equations and exponential graphs. 9th of September, that's when I did parabolas. So if you go back to this particular one, you can actually head down to view the full course, go down to 9th of September. That's the one that's going to have all the quadratics in there. So yeah, so the OneNote will definitely kind of help you guys figure out where everything is. Cool. I think I've got everything done. What spreadsheet? There's no spreadsheet. There's a OneNote. Neve, if you want to find the OneNote, it is available on any one of my live stream tutorial videos. So like right now, this is getting recorded on YouTube. So you can click on that. Oh, it's live. If you go into my description, you're going to find the notebook. And you can click on that notebook and you have access to all of my notes for everything from everything that I've done. So tomorrow night, I'm just going to be very honest with you guys, because I have a feeling, I'm just looking at the numbers right now. We got about 200 people here. So tomorrow, if I am doing a live stream, it would be just to kind of run the basics, because I'm assuming that a lot of people are going to come in and go, oh, I want to learn how to do SOHCAHTOA. I want to know how to factorize. I want to know how to expand. I'm gonna try and see if I get some time. I don't know when. To see if I can find some questions, like the basic questions, just the achieved questions, and just stack them all up, and we'll just run them through the achieved questions. So I won't be doing any merit questions or excellence questions tomorrow. I would definitely be doing the just achieved questions tomorrow, just because, you know, the last minute crashes, they'll be here tomorrow. It'll be 8 o'clock, Patty. Chop, I'm still learning Chop. I mean, I still make mistakes all the time, so no worries. Blake, you're welcome. Yeah, and I'm hoping that you guys get a nice bearings question, because if you do get a bearings question, you should be able to smash that for a 8-pointer, and then that should be keeping you feeling very safe. Why Chop? Why wouldn't I say your name? Nah, you're welcome, Atsi. Practice test. Oh, guys, look, I can prove to you I was working on the practice test. Now, where did it sync up? Did it actually sync? No, where is it? Let me just check. Oh, I didn't actually sync. I'll show you. I was actually working on the practice test. That's how bad it was. Like, I started working on it and then didn't actually finish it. Look, you wait and watch. Below. Oh, it's not syncing. That's the problem. Sync this notebook. For some reason, my notebook is not syncing. I was working on it. I'm not lying. You're like, where's the practice paper? How do I even show it to you? See, I started working on it yesterday. Hang on, let me just show you this. I don't know why it's not syncing. I'm not lying. Like, where is it? I gotta do this. Wait, you can kind of see. Yeah, can't see it. There. See, I was actually working on a practice paper. You can even see the date, 10th of November, 1:23. But for some reason, it's not syncing. Can't be stuffed. I'll have to figure it out later. But yeah, I did have like about 3 or 4 questions, and then I got carried away at school, guys. Sorry. Full-time job as well as this. All right, look, I'm gonna leave you to it. Take care, TikTok. I will see you tomorrow at 8 for our achieved madness. So we'll actually do that. Just achieved questions. I'm just going to be straight up, just doing really quick achieved questions. And then YouTube, I will catch you tomorrow as well. Like, look, I'll see if my kid actually goes to sleep a bit early. I'll jump on a bit early and we can actually do a few more questions. All right. But apart from that, TikTok, take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep chipping away at those practice questions. All right. All right. See you later, TikTok. All right. YouTube, as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. All right. Take care. And as always, thank you for watching.